Good. How are you? This is Muhammad. Thank you, sir.
Great. You guys want to come on back this way? Ready with the left for a second. I got to fix it. Close the book door again. Come from work?
Something like that.
Nowhere to go. Come on. I don't know why there's so many doors, but there's a lot of doors in this. This is an office right here.
That's beautiful.
There's a you go right here to the left. There's a conference room. I got two chairs in the car. So I can get to see. So real quick, just to understand what everything is here. Like I said, my name is Shelton. I work in, this is the Office of Professional Standards and what people call on TV internal affairs. And the reason why I've asked to meet with you guys is I want to understand what your concerns are. And one, I want to make sure it's something that we can look at. And two, and I'll explain what I mean by that too. But two, I just want to make sure I understand what your concerns are. I don't know who will be assigned to investigate this. Could it be me assigned to investigate it? Could be someone else. I don't know. But I also, as I was explaining to your brother here, I know very limited about, I know the crash that this involves. I know of it. I remember when it happened. But I don't know any more details other than that. And the reason why is I just don't work that aspect of it. That's how I do. And two, I want to hear what you had before I start looking at anything, so I understood what you guys are talking about.
Yes, sir.
Right. Do you mind if I start a recorder just so I don't have to take copious notes in case I got a question?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to give you this copy. It's a little more clear.
Oh, perfect. Thank you very much, man.
And Sergeant Shelton. So I'm gonna highlight the. I'm gonna highlight it, and then my brother's gonna play the audio.
Okay.
Why don't we just play it and then, you know.
That sounds good. Yeah.
Whatever one guys works for you guys. Go ahead. Which guys are?
So this is the conversation my brother Mustafa had with investigator Drum.
And this is the brother that's
That's
was
incarcerated.
arrested?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So this was on Friday, April 7th. It was 2 days after the accident. Investigator Drum called my cell phone and asked to speak to my brother.
Okay.
I think at the time I told him that I was headed home, and then I think within 30 minutes I arrived home and I told my brother, investigator wants to talk to you. Called him back and I said, hey investigator, my brother's here, and that's how the conversation starts.
Okay.
That's why I'm now 5 home. Let me call him first, yeah? Huh? Go ahead. Hello? Yeah, hi, Officer Joe. Hi, how are you? I got your phone call for Mustafa. Yeah, sorry, I was driving. I just got home, so I have Mustafa here. Yes, sir, he's right here. Hello?
How are you?
No, bro. Yes, sir.
Mustafa?
Yes, sir.
Mustafa, how you holding up?
I don't know. I'm just really depressed. I don't know.
You're really
Yes, sir.
okay. You had the injuries in the crash. You're still working on?
Yes, sir. I can't move. I'm in a lot of pain.
You're in a lot of pain.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Tell me what you remember.
I honestly don't remember much. Like, I don't remember anything. I just remember that we were gonna go see Dorothy's mom. It was her birthday. So we were heading towards the graveyard to go put flowers in there.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, I don't know, like, something, like, just happened. Like, it was really bad.
You said something just happened?
Yes, sir.
What do you mean by something just happened?
Like, the accident happened.
Okay. So, I'm a cross investigator. My job is to facilitate putting all the pieces together. And I'm going to ask you just some general questions. Stop taking any medicine. Do you take any medication?
Yes, sir.
What do you take?
I take, Adderall.
Okay. Is that for ADHD?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long you been on that?
Like, a pretty long time. Like, I've been taking it since I was 16. So,
Okay.
like, I've been taking it for a period of time.
Okay. What time did you go to bed the night before?
The night before, I slept late, so I woke up late. I woke up in the afternoon. So, it was like,
You woke up in the afternoon?
yes, sir. So, I went to sleep around, I think it was like close to morning. And then I fell asleep, woke up around like afternoonish. I'm not sure what time exactly. I don't know.
Okay. Are you diabetic?
No.
You ever had a seizure?
No. Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. Not diagnosed with epilepsy, any kind of form of epilepsy?
No. I mean,
Okay.
I don't know. Like, I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you live with Dorothy?
I don't live with her. I'm not a resident there, but I'm with her. Like,
So you guys boyfriend, girlfriend?
yes, sir.
Okay, how long you guys been dating?
I don't know, like 3 months. Something.
You guys have any kids together?
No, but her kids were like my kids. Like, I fed them and I cooked for them. I took them to the school bus. I care for them. Like, they're family to me.
Do you work?
I don't work like a consistent job.
What would you say your profession is? What are you good at?
Like sales, customer service, sales. Yes, sir.
What do you sell?
I was selling medical equipment previously.
Oh, that's right, okay.
Yes, sir.
So, do you remember what time you left the house?
I don't remember, but I see like it was afternoonish, evening, like, in that time frame, like, but it was.
You said, where was the gravesite? Where was that? Was that an accident?
What, the accident?
No.
The graveyard? Yes, sir. The graveyard where the mom is, it's in Manassas. Yes, sir.
You said you guys were going to go pick up flowers?
No, we already bought the flowers. Like, it was like an order that she ordered online. And we were gonna, yeah, it was like pink flowers, and it was for her mom's birthday. So
I didn't see any flowers in the car, but that could just
it was it was pink flowers. I think it was the fake flowers, like, those
Oh, fake flowers. Okay. Oh yeah, they last longer. It's great stuff.
Yeah, but I think it was like specific for her mom's birthday. It was like a gift like that.
When did her mom die?
I think 2 years ago.
Okay.
20, yeah, something like that.
Okay. Alright, so you're driving down Dumfries Road. You're headed towards Manassas. Everything's going fine. And then, what do you remember?
was just like a really bad accident. Like, I don't know.
A really bad accident?
Yeah. Like, it was really bad.
Okay. How do you know it was really bad? You don't remember anything?
I mean, when I was in the hospital, like, and right now, like, I'm experiencing a lot of pain every time I move. Like, I can't.
Okay.
Like, I can't even, like, sit in a position where I'm comfortable. So every time I turn my neck or every time I, like, just move anything, it's just, like, there's a lot of pain. So I'm not sure.
Where you staying now? Is that, I think you dropped the kids off at the neighbor's house, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You say you're taking care of the kids. Are you not staying at Popular anymore?
Foxler, I mean, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know what happened. I'm really concerned, like, about the kids. I don't know what's happening.
Well, you got into a crash, and then you got out of the hospital, and you went to go pick up the kids, and then you brought them over to a neighbor's house.
Yeah, I told him.
You said you're taking care of the kids. You're taking care of the kids, right?
I took him over to Nini, who's the neighbor next door. Her kids play with Dorothy's kids. So I made sure.
Why'd you take the kids over if they're living with?
Like, I couldn't leave them alone. Like, I don't know, like, what to do.
Well, you wouldn't have left them alone if so you took the kids, so they're Dorothy's kids, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so, I know they were left alone when the crash occurred, but there's nothing you guys could have done. You guys got the crash, nobody was expecting that.
Yeah,
Are you not going to take care of the kids now?
I would love to. Like, I would love to take care of the kids. Like, I want to know their whereabouts. I want to know their well-beings, but I don't know what's going on.
They're where you dropped them off, man. You dropped them off the night before. They're right up to the crash.
They're at the neighbor's house?
Yeah, they should be.
Okay. I don't know what's going on with that. Like, I'm really, really, like concerned, depressed, like, like, I don't.
What are you concerned about?
I'm concerned for their well-being, but I know, like, peace of mind tells me the neighbor, like, Nini, is, like, trustworthy and responsible. Like, she can take care of them, but, like, I was always cooking and, like, cleaning and making sure they're okay. Like I took care of them like they're my kids. These are.
This is my question though. If they're your kids, you're concerned for them and their well-being, why when you get out of the hospital did you go pick them up from the apartment and take them over to a neighbor's house? Why not just stay with them at home?
Like, I was in, like, excruciating pain, and I still want it because, like, that's more important, like, more than anything.
Okay, who's taking care of you right now?
Right now, like, family, my mom, my family.
John Stafford?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I just was going to ask you about the kids. I didn't want CPS to take them and separate them. I wanted them to be, like, all together, like, at the neighbor's house. So I trusted that she told me that, they're going to be okay.
Okay. Well, hey, again, I work for the crash unit. My job is to work on the crash, and there are an ungodly amount of witnesses that saw me driving down the road, that everything was absolutely fine. And then you turn into the left-hand lane of Numbers Road, and then you drive basically into oncoming traffic, and you get hit by a Suburban going the opposite direction. Now, Moses, you have a good driving record?
I would say I have a good driving record. Like, I haven't had any like major tickets. I've only had like a registration, like some kind of inspection ticket. But I sold that I got the ticket, then I sold the vehicle. So, like, I was gonna go and, like, go to the court, but I'm not sure what happened. But I think it stuck on my record for, like, some kind of, like, inspection or inspection sticker. Something happened, but the car was sold at the same day.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
No big deal.
Yeah, I don't know.
No big deal. So, there's a few things that we've already done. We've written a search warrant to get the little black box out of the car. Of course, it doesn't tell us it's a speed. I don't know. And we've already written a search warrant to get the dash cam. And the dash cam shows a story of, looks like you're arguing with Dorothy. She's crying. And then you turn into the left-hand lane and then you drive into oncoming traffic. The dash cam tells us the story. And I want you to tell me your side of the story. Because Moses, I want to believe that you're a human being, and none of this was done on purpose, and that this was just a true accident. But can you tell me why the dash cam shows what it shows? You tell me you don't remember, but there's nothing on the dash cam that shows that you are having a physical impairment that means you're a diabetic emergency. It shows it looks like you get a little frustrated, like you wanted to pass the people. And then you ended up driving into oncoming traffic.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. It was, I'm trying to, remember if, there was a car next to me, that was, either merging onto my lane or I'm trying to move to the other lane. I'm not sure what happened, but all I know is that I was driving straight and she was crying because, something about she wanted to go to the graveyard, but she didn't have the driver's license. Her car wasn't working. She wanted me to go with her. And something happened. I cooked for the kids. I cooked, I cooked them, a lot of, eggs and, I made them, some good food, and everybody ate. Everybody was okay. And then we were supposed to go and take all the kids, the two boys and Empress. We're going to take all 3 kids and leave the 14-year-old. He was going to go hang out with his friend at his friend's house. So his friend came over, and then the 14-year-old was going to go just hang out with his friend. And then we were going to take all the boys to go see Grandma. It was her birthday. And then at that moment, she told me that she's only going to take Empress, and the boys are going to clean the house. So Imagine was going to clean the house, and when we came back, I was going to fix his phone screen. That was I had plans, I'm going to fix his phone for him, and, everybody's going to be happy. And as we were driving, I don't know what happened. It was so sudden. All I see is a flashing white light. I don't know. And then I wake up in the hospital, or in and out. I can hear some people I think it's the nurses or something. I'm not sure what was going on, but I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Okay. So, Moses, do you have kids yourself?
No, sir.
Okay.
But,
do you want to have kids yourself?
Honestly, I would love to have a kid. These kids are like flesh. They have a personality. They're just beautiful beings. So I basically took part in taking that initiative as being their father figure, and from there I just started cooking for them and just caring for them, and buying them clothes and gifts and incentives, and it was all new to me, but I loved every bit of it, just putting this.
So, your facial expressions in the car, what were you upset about?
Well, something about Okay, so when I met Dorothy, she was living in the hotel rooms, like hotels with the kids.
Yeah.
And previous to that, she was living with this guy named Glenn. And he lives in Foxlair, so he lives in that subdivision, right? So he lives in the apartment next to our apartment. So when Dorothy moved into that apartment, we were supposed to get the up the hill location. But I didn't know anything about this, by the way. Like I didn't know anything. So I don't know anything about. All I know is that there's an ex-boyfriend named Glenn. I don't know the guy. Never talked to him. All I know is that she told me that in the cold, like when it was freezing outside and cold, he had like another girlfriend and a baby on the side, and like he was cheating on her, and he threw them out like in the street. That's why they're living in our hotels. So I hear that story, like I'm thinking like, wow, okay, so like he threw you guys out in the street, whatever. that's not nice. So when she got her place, it turns out like instead of getting the apartment like up the hill, because I think there was like some kind of renovations or whatever, so they gave her the apartment right there at the apartment 204. So a few days ago, what was it, like before the accident, like a few days ago, we had an argument about, what was it? The argument was, like this person that's like standing right there in the balcony, like, he's like smoking a cigarette and all that, whatever, right? Like he knows me or he knows about me, but I actually had no idea whatsoever who this person is. I thought it was just a regular neighbor, like a regular person, just like, smoking a cigarette. So, a few days ago, it was like an argument about how come I wasn't like in the loop, like, like how come you never told me that this is Glenn, like the person, like why are we moving into like a place, like, like you're situating yourself in an apartment where she signed a year lease. So I was like, why would you situate yourself in a place next to this person that you were, talking about, like he threw you in the street in the cold and left your kids freezing and like was horrible and cheated on you and all that. So like, how come I wasn't in the loop? So that's what the argument was about. And then when I find that out, I decided to just leave. I said, you know what, I'm just gonna leave. Because like, what am I doing here? Like, I don't even know what I walked into. So I was.
That's what the argument was about the car.
No, that was like a few days ago, like before that car.
What are you arguing about the car?
Okay, I'll just tell you. So I'm just giving you like a little background so I can lead to that. Yes, sir. So that happened. I was gonna leave. She stopped me. She told me like she loves me, and like I saw it, like, it was not like malicious or intentional that, she was trying to hurt me or anything. So I forgave her and I said, okay, I'll stay. Yeah, so she drove off in her car. She drove off to like somewhere in Springfield. That's what she told me, but I'm not sure. But she said she drove that direction, and then she drove to like the opposite direction, and then she called me. I was just parked. Like, I'm like, okay, smoking a cigarette. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know. Like, I love this girl, and I didn't want to leave, but I was really upset at the fact that I was in the loop of like I'm next to the person that she was talking about in that place. And then I forgave her, and I said, okay, I'll stay. And then the day of the accident, where I woke up in the afternoon, and then it was like an argument back and forth relating to that. So it was just back and forth about that same stuff, like about the guy next door. And I've never talked to him before until that night after I got the kids over to the neighbor. I want to make sure they're okay. That's when I saw him face to face, and he was caring, he was looking out for the kids. But I don't remember us arguing in the car. I don't remember any of that. I don't remember arguing. We were good. She sent me some amount to put gas in the car, so we were good. And she was, if anything, she was crying. I would say maybe it was getting dark or something. I'm not sure. The graveyard closes at a certain time. I think they close by 8 p.m. or something or whatever. It's and then they kick you out if the gate's shut. I'm not sure how the graveyard works. I've only been there one time with her, and it was at night as well, but I'm not sure if they have a strict policy or not. I don't know how the gates operate. But
Hey, okay. So the dash cam in the car, is that yours?
yes, sir.
Why do you have a dash cam? That's DoorDash stuff.
Yeah, I DoorDash. In case an accident or anything happens, or anything.
You know how the dash cam works?
I just plug it in and it turns on.
You know how long the videos are taped for?
I really don't know. I think maybe 2 days, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did you DoorDash last?
DoorDash, let's see. Did I DoorDash? I don't know.
Okay. I don't remember anything about DoorDash.
I have DoorDash recently, by the way, but I don't remember when, what it was like.
Let me ask this question. So, you have a mom, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You ever been in trouble with your mom? Your mom asked you a question that you knew your mom already knew the answer to, and she was waiting to see if you were going to tell the truth. So, I'm there right now.
Yes, sir.
Fine. There's a lot about you I already know. And again, I want to believe you're a good human being. I think a mistake was made. Have you ever tried to scare your girlfriend by driving in oncoming traffic before?
I would never in my life, or in any shape, way, or form, ever put the person that I love or I care about or any human being or even anything in harm's way, anything. I would never ever do that. And
Okay.
this person means the world to me.
Okay, mother. There is a dash cam video pointing at the front of the car and inside the car. The dash cam video shows you arguing with your girlfriend.
I wasn't arguing. I don't remember arguing.
Okay. Alright, well, having a discussion.
Yes, sir.
She was getting upset, and it just shows you turning into the left-hand lane, no skid marks, no braking, and then just driving into oncoming traffic. I'm trying to figure out why.
I don't know. Why would I do that? I would never.
I don't know. All I know is people tell me what you're telling.
I would never ever do that. Okay, I'll tell you right now. Do you know what happened to me? You know how bad that sounds. I just lost my I don't know how to words, but I lost someone very dear to me. And the daughter, like the girl, like she was very special to me. I really cared for every single person that was like right there within my circle. Like
Are you available to? I want to show you the video. Okay. Hopefully that might make some sense.
Yes,
Does
sir.
that help?
Yeah, yes, sir. If you can show me like the video, maybe it'll remind me because I don't remember.
Can you come? Let's see. Are you available tonight?
Sure. Where?
Or tonight or tomorrow? What works better for you?
I mean, if you need me tonight, let's look at it and figure it out. But, like,
If you want to meet me at you know where Garfield Police Station is?
not sure. But if I know the address, I can just put it on my GPS.
Yep, Garfield Police Station. It should be like 15948 Donald Curtis Drive.
Okay.
And then I'll show you the videos, and then we'll sit down and we'll have a discussion. And I'm investigating the crash, and we'll go from there. But
I'm not gonna
I
do
just
anything
wanna-
after that. I'm just gonna.
Yep.
Do you mind if I look at this?
Yeah.
I'm guessing all the stuff you highlighted or you underlined were the stuff that why you want to talk to me today?
Yes,
Do you mind if I, would you have something else you want to tell me? Do you mind if I go through these concerns here? or
Yeah, go
what's
ahead.
for you?
I think he's already highlighted the same concerns. I think we probably put the same thing down.
Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through the pages that you provided
Yes, sir.
and make sure that I understand
Mhm.
what you're, so I don't mean anything by it. I'm trying to make sure I understand what your concerns are. So you provided this pack of paper. You numbered it 1 at the top, at the bottom says 8 of 41. So on page 8, there's nothing there.
Yeah, I think I accidentally printed that one.
No, that's okay. It's good. It actually gives us context of what we're talking about. That's
Yeah.
fine. Then page 9 of 41, the last paragraph that starts with the date of February 7th says, I was able to speak. That's a phone. That's a line that you guys have a concern with.
Oh, no, sir. This is just leaving that shows you that this is the.
Okay. So you're okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was missing.
No,
Okay, I thought that was.
Yeah.
I thought that to be an accurate statement. That's what you were talking about. Okay. So page 9, there's nothing
Yeah.
there. Okay. And then page 10 of 41, the next page, 02 in the 0. I understand it to mean 02 in the morning.
Yeah.
Is that your concern? Well, I'm not. No, I don't mean anything by it. What's your concern with that right there?
So, my brother never actually gave him a time. Investigator Drum just inputs his own time. If you listen to the audio, yeah, so he never actually gave him a time, but Investigator Drum just inputs his own time.
Okay. The next paragraph down, you circle the word March.
So, Investigator Drum asked him how long you've been in a relationship with Dorothy. My brother says a couple of months. And then Investigator Drum writes March. The accident happened in April 5th. So my brother tells him a couple of months. Investigator Drum writes March, indicating that it's only 1 month.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you know how long they had been dating?
We're not really sure, to be honest with you. I think he's known her prior to moving in, so
That's what it sounded like from
Yeah,
the conversation. It
that's
sounded
what it
like
sounded- yeah.
it didn't seem like it was a new relationship. Like maybe they had been together or something.
I think few months is like is what he said. I think.
Okay.
I think we're just concerned because like these are specific. Like the timing is specific. You know, the month is specific, and then, you know, like the discrepancies are, they're not like, you know, I mean, I understand the investigator has a job to do,
Mm-hmm.
but like you know, he's not generalizing. He's putting down something that's like very specific, and like further down he puts it in quotes.
Well, that's how I'm going to go.
Yeah.
The next one down here at the bottom here.
Yes, sir.
I know what happened. I think it's missing the word
Don't.
Is
And
I made a note of that, I thought.
yeah, I mean,
Because that's what I heard the word.
and I mean, like I know what happened versus I don't know. Like that's a huge difference with a case like this. Like anybody reading the report, for example, you're reading the report, you don't have like you said, you don't have all the details.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to read like that section and knowing that Mustafa was in a car accident,
Mm-hmm.
Somebody in the vehicle passed away, didn't make it, and for someone to say I know what happened versus I don't know what happened, like that's I mean that's a huge that's a huge fact or factor in the case to say I know what happened or I don't know what happened.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I knew where to look at this point right here, because I think at that point was when you handed me this form. So, and I made it over here because I thought I heard the word don't
Yes, sir.
myself. So I agree.
Yes, sir.
The word don't,
Yeah.
I believe should be in the quote too. But I
Yes,
would
sir.
have to listen to the recording again to be 100% sure.
Yes.
But I'm pretty darn sure.
Oh, yeah.
that
He
I
definitely
knew
said
where
it.
it was
Yes, sir.
coming. So I don't disagree. And then that's at the bottom of page 10 of 41. Are we good with 10 of 41? Can I go to the next page?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where's 1141. The second complete paragraph is highlighted some sections.
So in the audio, if you go into 2036,
You have the
Oh.
timestamp?
so is that right?
Right about. I mean, I can go back to the recording.
If I'm understanding, let me see if I understand this correct.
Yeah.
Your brother is talking about this event that took place 2 or 3 days before.
3 days, yes, sir.
However, the way this reads is, it
Inside the
sounds like
vehicle.
that's what they're arguing about in the car.
Yes, sir.
Is my markup
Yes,
right here?
that's
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then investigator Drum specifically asked him, that's what the argument about in the car?
And he says no.
No, I'm giving you a backstory 3 days ago, and I'm just giving you a backstory. But investigator Drum just specifically wrote the argument inside the vehicle. Mustafa stated the argument inside the vehicle, he was angry at the time.
Two or 3 days before. He said.
Uh,
Some days
We can
before.
listen to it.
No, it's okay. I mean, I just. Okay. Yeah, well, once again, I knew where to look because I saw the lines you provided. I can see where your brother is referring to, sounds like this argument
Mhm.
that took place some days before.
Mhm.
But this report reflects, it sounds like the argument in the car, he's combining those two into one.
That's
And I
huge.
think- I
That's a
think-
huge. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think the leading sentence after that, it kind of like builds onto that. So it's like where it says Mustafa stated he was really upset at the time, but he didn't want to leave Dorothy because he loved her. So when he's saying that Mustafa stated that he was really upset at the time, it's kind of like building on to, when investigator Drum says that the argument was in the vehicle, that they had an argument in the vehicle about Mustafa trying to leave, and then like that statement following it kind of magnifies the situation,
I understand what you're trying to relate.
Yeah.
All right. You guys got some other notes on the paperwork right there. Is there anything I'm missing here?
No.
Or do I understand what you guys, what our concerns are here?
You do, yes, sir.
Okay. Is there anything I'm missing?
I think, let me see. The only thing that at 28 minutes into the recording, investigator Drum says the dash cam shows you arguing. Now, I don't know if you've seen the dash.
No, I told you. The only thing,
Yeah.
matter of fact, the only report I read is what you guys are just handing me.
Okay.
So I know, well, I am led to believe there's dash camera, but I don't know. I've not seen it, so I don't know what's on the dash camera. So
Okay.
I believe there was dash camera.
Yes, sir.
And I
There
believe
was.
we have. Well, I believe someone's at least seen it. But there's a good chance we have that in our possession.
Okay.
But-
Yeah.
Like I said, I haven't seen it. So, I'm sorry, what was your concern?
I'm sorry. I think the other thing I was going to mention is we don't have the full discovery report here, but somewhere in the discovery, it describes Dorothy screaming. Like when I read the discovery, and I don't know if I missed it, but nowhere in the discovery does it say there's no audio to the dash cam. You know, it's only when they get to court that they state there's no audio to the dash cam.
Okay.
You know, we have a concern about that because the dash cam is supposed to it records audio and video, and like all of this can be cleared up if the audio is there. You know what I mean? Like this is all.
So is your concern that we've tainted, maybe as in the police department or someone in the investigation has tainted the audio camera or the audio footage?
So,
You're not going to offend me by saying that.
Yes, sir.
If I'm understanding that. So
Yeah, I believe somebody is withholding the audio to the dash cam. Now, I've contacted the dash cam company and I've informed them of the situation. And what they've told me is that this is a highly sophisticated dash camera. It is specifically made for crashes, and when an incident does occur with this camera, like regardless of what the incident is, once the software detects that there is a major incident, what it does is it separates two files. The previous recordings are automatically isolated into one section.
Yep.
And then that incident is recorded and also isolated into it's locked into another section.
Okay.
So the way they described it to me is, if for whatever reason the dash camera is damaged and for whatever reason the audio is not there for the part of the accident, 100% you'll get the audio of the previous recordings. Now this camera records in 1 minute increments.
Okay.
So those files are independent. Every minute is independent of the next minute.
All right.
So when
I
they're
understand what you're trying to tell me. You're trying to tell me that
when they're
even if we lost corruption, even if one was corrupted, the other one should not be, and that's because the manufacturers told you that's what the product does.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That it isolates those files individually, and then
Do you know who makes the camera?
it's Rexing USA,
Okay.
REXING.
Okay.
And our other concern is that the very last part of the dash cam cuts off before the impact by a few seconds. So, I mean, I don't know where, if there is more footage or if there isn't more footage, but,
Okay.
I mean, that's just a concern that we have.
I'm just trying to say this. Your concern with the camera footage from this dash camera
Yes, sir.
is twofold. First is that you think there should be some sort of audio with some of the footage.
Yes, sir.
And you don't understand why that's not there, which leads you to a concern that maybe, and I'll say the police, I'm not trying to pull a punch or nothing, that you're concerned that the police have somehow altered this footage?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
that's fine.
Yes,
You're not offended.
yeah.
Now, what I'd like to do is play an audio for you that.
One second, I just want to make sure. And the other one, there's two concerns now. The other concern is that some footage at the end is missing because the camera abruptly stops.
Yes,
for some
sir.
reason. Am I understanding your
yes,
concerns?
Sir.
Okay.
And that last file is 8 seconds, so it's 1 minute increments. So we're just curious as to why that last file is only 8 seconds
Okay.
and it cuts off, before the impact.
And why it's not, where the other 52 seconds are?
Yes,
Is that-
sir.
Okay. All right. I'm going to say right now, I have no idea the answer to any of that stuff, but I understand what your concerns are.
Yes, sir.
Sir, the other thing I wanted to have you here is, so we, through our attorney, Casey Stevens, the previous attorney, the one we
Mhm,
let
yeah,
go.
when you got fired.
He had hired a crash investigator to look into the vehicle.
Mhm.
After the crash investigator went in, looked at the vehicle, that night, the attorney called us and updated us to what happened that day. And we have this conversation on audio. He told us.
If this is a conversation between an attorney
Yes, sir.
and you,
Yes, sir.
I think you need to check with the attorney before you talk to me about that.
It's,
before you provide me with that conversation. You can tell me about the conversation.
Yes, sir.
but
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
have
which
no
stuff's
problem.
maybe privileged from an attorney to
Yeah.
a defendant in a
Yeah.
court case, and I don't want to infringe on your brother's. He has rights, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying I don't want to be in a position where we infringe on his
Yes,
rights.
sir.
He actually wanted me to tell you this.
Okay.
He tells us the Do you have the audio?
Well, I mean, you can
Yeah.
sound-
So he tells us that
Yeah.
investigator Drum.
He basically states that investigator Drum has
Yeah.
figured out the audio to the dash cam. So he has the audio.
This private investigator says that he
No,
thinks we.
the lawyer, Casey Stevens.
Casey Stevens
Yeah.
told, but he figures it out from
That
this private
yeah,
investigator.
no, the investigator Drum had told him.
Investigator Drum was asking him, have you seen the dash cam? And he says, well, no, I haven't. And then he says, basically, the attorney says that investigator Drum told him that he has figured out the audio to the dash cam.
Oh, okay. So Drums told Casey Stevens
Yes, sir.
that we do have audio,
that you-
and that Drum has heard it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I mean, that, like,
Can I play the audio for you? Is that okay?
Well,
Or is that does it?
well, the only concern I have is that Casey Stevens was an attorney assigned to a criminal case
Yes, sir.
that hasn't been prosecuted.
That makes sense.
And Casey Stevens is someone that, I don't know where he lives, but he works in the county because he goes to the courthouse. So he's someone we can find. If we need
Yeah.
to talk to him, I would much rather talk to him and make sure we're not infringing on. See, my big concern is, my biggest hurdle is, as we all know, the big concern, 90% of probably the Constitution deals with, or at least the Bill of Rights deals with, protecting the rights of someone that's accused of committing a crime.
Yes,
Your
sir.
brother's been accused of committing, sounds like a pretty serious crime with that. So I don't want to infringe on any of his rights. Same time, I want to do my job. It sounds like figure out what concerns you guys have here, but I want to make sure we're doing it
yeah.
the proper legal
I
way.
mean, I
That
think,
makes
I
sense.
think
Yeah, that makes
the
sense.
point is
So we
to-
can,
yeah.
there's a way to get the answer to the question we're
Yeah,
looking
yes,
for.
sir. Yeah.
And
The
I
point
understand
is-
you're recording. I don't think we should listen to
That's
that.
fine.
I think the point is to just get the point across
Yes.
is that, you know, based on what the attorney has told us, you know, that their investigator Drum seems to have the audio to this dash cam. And I mean, based on the report, it kind of helps him when there's no audio, because then he can just, you know, say, well, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, I understand.
You know, I mean, yeah.
We're
From-
not allowed-
from
we're
our
not-
perspective,
we're-
I think.
So there's a thing called exculpatory evidence,
Mhm.
okay? And that is evidence that would lead someone to prove or whatever that they may not have committed a crime. I'm not an attorney. I'm
Yes,
just,
sir.
You know, okay? But my understanding is it's my responsibility to hand over this evidence and provide it, and you know, the judges and the juries decide guilt and innocence. My responsibility as an officer is to collect that information and provide it to the Commonwealth, and the Commonwealth provides that to the defense.
Yes, sir.
The way I've always understood it, and I'm fairly certain I've got this right, that I take my case file, I give it to the Commonwealth, and the Commonwealth provides that to the defense attorney. That's discovery. Now, I don't know if audio exists.
Yeah.
It should be something easy to figure out. I tell you right now, if we have any evidence, we're not going to hide it. And
Yes,
if
sir.
that is
That's all
happening-
we want.
If
Yeah,
that is happening,
yeah.
that won't happen.
Yes, sir. I mean, that's
Just
all we
separate
want. You know, like, we're not asking for special treatment.
No, you
Well,
have
well,
questions and you have concerns.
Yes,
you
sir.
want them to-
We
okay.
just want the facts out, you know, like we trust this process.
Does Drum have a copy of that recording that you just played me?
So, I don't know, because
Okay.
I recorded that, from my home.
All right.
But what I can tell you is, during the bond hearing, when Casey Stevens was playing a section of this audio to the judge, it was very low on his laptop when he was playing it. And when the judge asked the prosecutor, he says, would you like to come over to listen to what he's playing? She says, no, I don't want to hear it. I've already got it. So I'm assuming that she has this audio, but when we asked the attorney, have you provided this to the prosecutor? He says, I never gave them any audio. So
The Commonwealth said it never used
the Commonwealth said she didn't want to hear it. She didn't want to listen to it.
it?
So So from our perspective, either she has the audio to this conversation because she doesn't want to, I mean, she clearly doesn't want to hear what was being played in court.
Yeah.
So to us, it shows us that either she has the audio or, which means Drum has the audio and shared it with her, because the attorney said he never provided her this audio.
So, and the problem we had during the bond hearing is that Casey Stevens said he was going to play these points.
Yeah.
Instead, he plays a separate audio that has nothing to do with these points. So after the bond hearing, we're like, sir, why didn't you play the points that we talked about that are falsified in the police report? He said, I forgot.
Well,
yeah.
So.
I know this is like not.
No, I'm not trying to dismiss on that.
Yes, sir.
It may have also, that information may be more pertinent in what's called the preliminary hearing as opposed to the bond hearing, because the bond hearing is to determine whether your brother can get out of jail pending the court trial or not. So that may be, remember when I talked to you about defense strategies?
Yes, sir.
That may be defense strategy. It may have been forgetting. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
my experience
to pick up with the attorney.
with him is that he's a pretty well put together attorney. But like I said, my experience, as I was explaining to your brother, my experience with Casey Stevens is he's an attorney. He's a defense attorney. So I have seen him in the courthouse. If I saw him out there, I haven't seen him in a few years because I've been in this office for a while. But I could recognize him. But I'm not friends with him. I know who he is because he's an attorney.
The red flag in that bond hearing is when the judge asked the prosecutor, do you want to hear this audio? She dismissed it. She said, what did she say?
She didn't want to hear it.
She didn't want to hear it.
Yeah. And I don't know why she would say that. I would say the prosecutor's dismissing it or not dismissing it. I mean, it sounds like one of your questions is do we have a copy of that audio? And I don't know where we are in discovery. Maybe we have the audio and we haven't handed it over.
Mm-hmm.
Why, I don't know. I just don't know the answer to the question because I don't know. Can I have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Would you email that to me?
Absolutely.
Can we airdrop it to yourself? Like airdrop it? So that way you
well, the phone I have is not an iPhone.
Oh,
so I don't
I
know
just
if
want to
can
make sure it gets to you.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I think depending on the size, I probably have to break it up into different sections.
Don't break it up. Just make sure it's all there.
If not, I'll put it on a flash drive and I'll drop it off at your office, if that works.
Whatever, however you want to do.
Yeah.
Sergeant Shelton, you have no idea how.
I can try to email it. I think if I put it on a Google Drive, it'll email.
You have no idea, sir, how bad we really want you to have this audio.
Here's my card. I think my email address is on the back side of it. Should be S.Shelton. Is it on?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. Well, however, if I can get a copy of it, I would appreciate it, having a copy of it. Like I said, the phone I have is a Samsung, so I don't believe Samsungs do the AirDrop.
I think I can send it through like Gmail. Gmail will allow me to send it.
Yeah, however you send it to me. If there's some concern that it's too big,
I'm pretty sure.
thumb drive or something.
Yeah.
We can figure something. So if it's got to come in, if it comes in more than one piece, I don't think you guys are altering. Well,
And
first of all,
I'm pretty sure I can send it in one piece.
Yeah.
There's a
Oh,
way.
you have?
I'm going to say
that's good.
part of it was captured in the background of the
Yeah.
thing, but I would rather have the one that's,
Yeah, I'll make sure I email it.
because every time we hit the desk, nothing picks it up. So if you could just find it. Now,
The concern that we had was, like you say, defense strategy with the attorney. Now, a few hours before bond.
real quick, I'm not an attorney, and I'm
Yeah,
just saying that
yeah.
defense attorneys have strategies.
Yeah.
No,
No,
I don't always understand their strategies,
yeah,
but they have strategies sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is irrelevant, but I just want to lead up to,
Mhm.
like, some concern that we have, is that, we know Casey Stevens, like, he's been practicing law for a long time.
Mhm.
He knows a lot of people here. And, like, we agreed we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4 in bond. We agreed that morning, like, maybe 3 hours before the court started. And so he doesn't follow through for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But when we get to his office and we tell him, like, we don't want to say the officer lied, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, we believe that officers have integrity. They follow their oath. They're
I'm sure he doesn't expect that from you.
yeah, like, you don't expect a police officer to lie. But we say there are like inconsistencies, is what we like to call them,
Yeah.
or mistakes, or however you want to put it. But when we told him that we believe that we should bring this up to at least the police department, someone above Investigator Drum.
Your brother was telling me this in the lobby. Go ahead now.
Yeah, and then like his response was, it's not going to help because the prosecutor is going to be more emboldened to protect its cop. So when we're telling him so you're telling us that, like hypothetically speaking, we don't want to say he is, but let's say he's a corrupt cop and he's falsifying police reports. You're telling us that the prosecutor is going to be okay with that?
No, they're not. Well, first of all, that's ethically and morally corrupt. That's the last thing. That's not if an employee, whether it is a crossing guard or the chief of police, those are the two extremes on it, is not doing what they're supposed to. We as an organization, as a county, as whatever, are going to hold that person accountable for their individual actions, and we are not going to retaliate. That would just be, it would be a complete break of trust in the community. There's 500,000 people live in this county. There's a whole bunch more that drive through it. In order for us to be effective, we need the community to trust that we're going to do the right thing at the right time for the right reasons. Therefore, if, in this case, Investigator Drum is not doing something he's supposed to, or something, we're going to hold him accountable, and we are not going to retaliate. And if for some reason someone were to do something, we would hold that person accountable for those actions. And that is not something we want to be involved in whatsoever. I'm not just giving you words to say out of my mouth. Those are realities. We're not going to do that.
Yes, sir.
If down the road you feel that situation is presenting itself, you've got my card. That's who I am.
Yes,
Now I am about to rotate out of this assignment to another assignment. However, I'm not leaving the department. Those numbers are going to follow me wherever I go. You're always going to want to call me.
Yes, sir.
We're
We
going
appreciate that.
to keep
Sergeant
that
Shelton,
standard.
this department is lucky to have you, sir. Thank you for your service. I can't thank you enough for sitting down with us, sir, and taking these concerns.
Do you mind if I keep this copy?
Yes.
I know you gave me 2 copies. One of them I want to make sure
Yes, sir.
it has the outline. So, let me do a few things, okay? First of all, you got my card. I look forward to you emailing
Yes, sir.
me the materials. Let me look into a few of these things. I'm not in the business of trying to make excuses. I'm in the business of trying to understand why we do certain things. I hope the answer is to the "I know what happened" comment on page 10. But that's a typo, because I picked up that the word "don't" was in there. Maybe he just forgot to write that in there. But I agree, the way it's written, it's an inflammatory statement, meaning that it
Yes,
could
sir.
lead people to other conclusions. One thing that's good in respect for the police report doesn't stand on itself, meaning someone has to come in and testify to, hey, these are what I heard, these are what I saw, So for your brother's defense, statements like that would have to be qualified. Hey, I spoke to him on this case. And that's when situations like you're recording right there, I know we have recorded this, so it's the contrary. Most attorneys, though, are they're going to, I don't know did you ever settle on an attorney for him?
I think he's got a court appointed.
Okay,
at this
perfect.
time.
Yeah, they're gonna see that situation. They'll be prepared
Yes, sir.
for that situation. Obviously, you're also gonna bring that to them. So, whatever outcome we come out through our actions, that will not change what's going on in the court. Okay. What I mean by that is, if all of a sudden we said Officer Drum did something he wasn't supposed to, that doesn't mean the court's going to dismiss charges on your brother and things. I just want to make sure that
Right.
you guys understand that.
Yes,
okay. Additionally, there's a good chance that the information that we find here, that the prosecutor or the defense would not be in a position to use those because they're not always tied to the case. I don't want to put you in a false sense of anything, but we're also not going to hide any punches or anything like that. We're going to make sure our people are doing what they're supposed to. Like I said earlier. The when's his next court date? Your brother?
It's one is October 16th and the other one's October 26th. So
What
one
is
is,
he into?
one is in juvenile.
Oh,
juvenile-
because there's a child that
Yes,
was
sir.
killed. Okay. Okay, I can see why they're split.
No,
yeah, because the juvenile's a victim of one situation, there's an adult victim of another. Okay, gotcha. You would say something?
I was gonna say one.
Oh, it's
So,
okay.
actually, I do remember now. So, you know, this is related to the case.
Mhm.
When my brother came out of the hospital, he went to the apartment, you know, where the 3 boys were.
Yeah.
And like we took those boys over to the neighbor because she said like leave them with me.
Yeah. They're not his kids though, right?
No, they're not his kids.
Okay.
But she was supposedly she was a close friend of the mom, and that she was going to be able to find or locate additional family to the boys.
Yeah.
Now the ex-boyfriend that was there, Glenn, when my brother asked him that night, because he was standing in the balcony and he kind of heard the commotion, and then the neighbor called, she said, come down here. So he came out, and my brother right there and then asked him, he said, do you know Dorothy? And he says, no, I don't. He says, but I'm somewhat familiar with the kids. Now,
Oh, he's not the father of the kids?
no, he's not the father
Oh,
of the
okay.
kids. But he's the ex-boyfriend.
He's just an ex-boyfriend.
He's just
None of
ex-
these are his kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she had lived with him prior to dating Mustafa.
Yeah, I'm following where you're going.
Yeah. So he said he did not know Dorothy when Mustafa asked him for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then, you know, but right there and then when he found out that Dorothy didn't make it, he took the older boy, Javen, like he took him out to the side and like had some conversation with him. Now, we know the night of the accident when we took my brother home and the kids stayed with the neighbor,
Yeah.
we know that Glenn was on Facebook on the Prince William County website, and he was accusing my brother of intentionally harming his girlfriend, intentionally crashing the car. And he had a couple of statements on different people that were commenting on this incident.
Yeah.
And he was pretty much going through Facebook telling people that he was on the run, that he was at large, that he couldn't wait to get rid of the kids. But he doesn't know that my brother went to the kids. Like my brother was
Yeah.
never with the kids. You know what I mean?
No, I think I understand where you're coming from.
And like all these accusations are pretty much coming that night of the accident. They were coming out of Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
And we know those boys were with Glenn for the 2 days before the investigators got to them.
Okay.
So what we believe is Glenn coached those boys to say what they said.
Okay.
Because there is evidence that some of the statements that the boys have made is inaccurate.
Okay.
Like when one of the boys says, I woke up in the afternoon, I left, I came back home, I left to go with my friends, I came back home, and my mom and her boyfriend were gone. I mean, we know that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what the boy said to the police.
Okay.
So, like, we have reason to believe that Glenn coached the boys to say certain things.
How old
The-
are the boys?
The one, I think the oldest is either 13 or 14,
Okay.
and then the other 2 are, I think, 9, 8, or 10 and 9.
Okay.
They're pretty young.
Yeah.
And you know, like that night when I was there, I talked to the boys like they weren't saying anything. I mean, obviously they just lost their mother, which is like devastating. It's the worst thing in the world.
Oh yeah.
And I remember Javen telling me that like he's like, my life is ruined now. Like, you know, he's like just venting, you know, just talking out of frustration. And I don't blame him, you know, like he's just lost his mom. He's like saying that his sister Kylie, or one of his sisters, is a druggie. The other one like just wants to ruin their life.
So there's 5 kids?
Yeah, she has 6 kids total. 2 other girls. But you know, like I personally believe, and I know for a fact, that Glenn is where all of this like started, because
So
Glenn,
you think Glenn put the idea that...
I know Glenn did that. Like I took snapshots of the comments that
Yeah.
Glenn made on Facebook, he was going through all the comments. He was replying to people, telling them that my brother is a cold-hearted killer. He just killed his girlfriend. He's at large. He's like on the run. You know, like my brother cares for those boys. If he didn't care for the boys coming out of the hospital, he would have just went home to Stafford with my parents. He would have just said, whatever, I'm going home. Like, these are not my kids. You know,
so this is why Drum was asking those questions about the way you
yes, sir.
about
Like,
okay.
My brother was in no way, shape, or form able to take care of himself that night. You know, he was in complete shock. You know, he didn't know what was going on. Like, he kept asking, like what happened? You know, like we had to kind of like break it down to him every time.
Mm-hmm.
So we know he wasn't capable of taking these kids. And I think from the hospital, he kept asking the nurse, like, can you tell me about Empress? And he was begging the nurse to tell him about Empress. And she says, like, sir, you're not the father, you're not related by blood. I can't give you any information on, like, I can't even tell you what room she's in. So, like, he left the hospital that night devastated, and the only thing he can think of was, I have to get to the boys. They're still in the apartment alone. They don't know what's going on. And that's what he did. You know, he went to the boys. He wanted to make sure that, like, at least there was an adult with them. And Nini, when I asked her, I said, should we call the police? And I called the police officer that called us initially and told us that my brother was involved in a car accident. I called him and I told him, I said, there's 3 boys here at the apartment without a family member. And my brother's, you know, and the officer actually told me, he said, your brother is not the father, so he can't take those kids.
I believe you have to be a correct statement.
Yeah, so I told him that these kids, they don't have any family members right now. They don't have anybody that's related by blood that's an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And they're with a neighbor. I gave him the address to the neighbor. She said that when I told the neighbor, like after that conversation, I told the neighbor, I said, like, don't you think we should call the police at least to let them know? I mean, I've already talked to the police, and I told that investigator that called me.
Well,
and our concern is in the conversation when he's talking to Mustafa, when Investigator Drum is coming off as if he doesn't understand why my brother is concerned about the kids. He went to the kids. He took the kids to an adult. I mean,
I think he's coming off of the conversation that he probably had with Glenn.
I understand where you guys are coming from. I will say that, well, kind of like every situation, walking into this, when I came to meet with you guys, I didn't know much about what your concerns were or whatever.
Yes,
that's why we had these meetings. And you're the first people that I've discussed this case with anybody. As we talk to other people, you know, we'll get a better picture of understanding. Sometimes the first questions aren't always the best questions. What I mean by that is because you don't know where you're going. You don't know what you need until you need it later. So those may have been some, to me, those, I didn't understand the context of those questions because I didn't have this background which you just gave me.
Yes,
Given that background too, they may come to that. What charges are on your brother? Is it just a...
He's charged with involuntary manslaughter.
Mm-hmm.
And with 2 counts of involuntary, and then the malicious wounding.
Okay, so there's no child neglect one, and there's no.
No, sir.
Okay, so there may have been like a situation where you start the investigation where you have, well, oh shoot, what could I possibly have, you know, and then as you start talking to people, you kind of dwindle that stuff down. So I don't know. I'm just going off of what you just told me, what we just heard on that recording, and this little bit of the report we had. It may have been a situation where, hey, his initial thought was maybe I have something bigger that I'm going to have to get other units in. Because Drum just does crash investigations. He's in our traffic unit. All his education in the last couple of years has been centered around, you know, vehicles colliding and what happens thereafter and stuff. That's why on these serious crashes we send them out. They also do stuff like big commercial truck inspections. But what I'm getting at here is, if there had been a thing of a child neglect or something along those lines, some other charges other than the ones that are presented here, there would probably be a detective assigned from a different unit or something else that's not here. Given the fact that it's been several months now, and the charges are what they are. I don't think they're pursuing any of that stuff. So that may have just been some initial information they were collecting as they started off. So,
I have another question for you.
Yes, sir.
So I know the police department has Dorothy's cell phones.
okay.
And I know in the discovery says that there's like data dump.
Okay.
I know from like information that I've heard is that her ex-husband was sending her death threats. Now I like, and
Those could have been recovered from the phone. I don't know that we have the phone. I don't know that we've done a data dump. If we've retrieved data from a cell phone, we may have retrieved that information if it exists. And I say all that because I don't know if any of that exists.
Okay.
But yeah, and sorry, what's your question?
No, I mean like I'm just curious. Is that like something that you guys would look into?
Yes. Well, we would look at it and see if it had any value. So,
Like she was getting emails with death threats.
so if
And this was like days prior to the accident.
if he was in the car and this had happened, well then, because then that would be evidence that maybe he was a suspect of a crime.
Okay.
But from what I understand, there's only 3 people in the vehicle: your brother, Dorothy, and the child, right?
My brother
So-
has mentioned that someone tampered with the vehicle. The day
okay.
before, his chrome handle was missing off the vehicle.
I don't think it was the chrome handle. I think it was a piece of the trim off of the passenger door.
Yeah.
Well, typically they give, on these situations, they examine the vehicle in rather good detail. They take photographs of the scene and vehicle. I don't know what kind of vehicle, whether the vehicle has capacity, but most vehicles nowadays have the ability of downloading the vehicle, and you can get some information of what happened before the crash that gets stored, kind of like you're talking about with the dash camera device, how it stores data.
Yes, sir.
Many cars these days store data. Some cars store a lot of data. My old pickup truck doesn't store nothing. My wife's new car it stores
like,
everything.
yeah, this is like an old car, so.
Yeah, so it may have that data within it, which may be able to help them piece together if somebody's tampered with it. I don't know the answer to that because, like I said, I haven't looked at anything. But given that, though, your defense attorney should be able to be provided those documents. Like I said, the criminal court is that the prosecution has to prove the suspect committed the crime. Your brother doesn't have to prove that he's innocent. We, the Commonwealth, have to prove that he committed a crime. So if we have evidence, we have to present that evidence, and if we possess evidence which says that he's not the person,
This is
then
what
we also have to provide that evidence.
This is what we were told initially with Casey Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
But then at some point, after telling him or bringing this up to his attention, that there's inconsistencies with the report, he started telling us that Mustafa is guilty and that like he has to prove his innocence.
No, he does not have to prove his innocence.
Yeah, that's what Casey Stevens told us.
Like
No,
he said there's no presumption of innocence, and the fact that he's sitting in jail is because someone found him guilty. That's why he's sitting in jail.
Well, I'm sorry that was relayed to you, but
yeah,
that is not an
yeah.
accurate statement.
Yeah, I mean we know it's inaccurate now. You know.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm really sorry that information was passed away. That is not the burden of your brother, for the most part, can sit there and say and do absolutely nothing. It's not his responsibility to prove that he didn't commit the crime or he didn't commit the acts that are accused against him. It is the Commonwealth, the government's responsibility to prove that your brother committed these acts, and with what you've explained to me, that those acts were committed intentionally. Malicious wounding requires,
Yeah.
I mean, if I bump into you as we're walking out here because I trip over the carpet, I didn't commit a crime. I tripped over the carpet. But if I walk out here and I push you, that's an intent. I went up to you and I walked up behind you and pushed you. What I'm getting at here is there's an intent behind a whole bunch of this stuff.
Yes,
So maybe it is a good thing that you've chosen a different avenue, a different attorney. But
$45,000 on the drain, sir.
well, I would say if any
Yeah.
attorney ever tells you that it's the government's
Yeah.
responsibility, or it's your responsibility to prove the government didn't commit a crime, that's contrary to the system we have in this country. And you guys know this, that, you know, I mean, show cops on TV all the time. Everybody says they're proven guilty in court of law. That's exactly here. That is it's the Constitution, and that's the way it is. So, if we as the government are going to convict your brother of a crime, we are going to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he has committed these crimes. And if we can't, then it's up to the judge, the jury to say he's not guilty. He doesn't have to stand up and say, well, this is why I didn't do it. And it sounds like the charges that were brought up against him are malicious wounding and manslaughter.
And yeah, involuntary manslaughter.
Yeah. Sounds like the position of the Commonwealth is, the government is that you brother did this on purpose. So we are going to have to, as the government, prove that happened. But you guys haven't even had preliminary hearings yet. So there's some steps. There's a preliminary hearing. After that, if it goes past preliminary hearing, it goes to the grand jury. If it gets past grand jury, then it goes to the circuit court. The grand jury is comprised of members of the community that get together and hear the evidence. And if they don't provide a true bill,
Yeah, I
it
mean,
doesn't go forward.
I think we were just concerned with like this report and the lack of audio to the dash cam. But you know, like we're happy that you're.
We're looking at, and I'll tell you, I'll
into
give
it.
you an answer to your question. Well, I see you keep saying me. I don't know who this is going to be assigned to.
Yes, sir.
It could be me, it could be someone else. But I think I understand your concerns. I've taken some notes, I've got the recording. I think I understand where you sit, where you want. Let me look into a few things.
Yes, sir.
And is it okay if I contact you back?
Yes. Look forward to it, sir.
What would be the best number for you?
571-999-5104.
And you, sir?
571-361-7002.
Okay. Is that my last card? It was. I'll grab another card here. Oh, shoot. Hold on a second. It's the same information, just a different looking card. If you got questions, you're obviously more than welcome to give me a call. Let me look into a few things. Let me talk to our bosses. Just kind of tell them, understand, hey, I met with you, this is what I understand from our conversation. And then I will contact you back next day or so. At least make the contact back to you saying, hey, I'm either I found something or I'm still looking at something. We'll have an open conversation and we'll see what direction we want to go from there. Does that work for you guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you have a question or something comes up, something doesn't make any sense, give me a call. Remember your brother, attorney, whoever that person is, make sure that you're keeping them apprised of what's going on. Because, like I said, he needs to know. I'm assuming he's in the detention center.
Yes, sir.
He needs to be knowing what's going on the outside here so that he and his attorney understand this is happening, because you are guys down here talking to us.
Yes, sir.
We don't share our information with the rest of the department. However, it is possible for like the Commonwealth to ask us, hey, who do we talk to and what position along those lines. You guys haven't told me anything that would jeopardize anything. And if anybody does anything to retaliate because you came down here or because of any of this, I want you to tell me right away. That's not going to happen, okay?
So I can't take it up, sir.
No problem.
I appreciate it, sir.
Thank you guys for coming down.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
Now we'll go to 15 doors to get out.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right to this wall. Put in some doors.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is.
You literally just walked in here.
Like a maze.
All right, gentlemen. I'll be back.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
And I'll be honest with you, sir. This department is lucky to have you, sir. I know you're rotating. I would tomorrow. Sorry,
Well, I'll see the department's rotating the other side. So we need to look at it